appears that Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't actually believe in free speech. Take a look at this exchange during one of her gatherings.
And that's something that they're being taught. It wasn't this way.
It's TikTok.
Only a few years ago.
It's TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok is on TikTok a lot.
It needs to be gone.
And Instagram and other social media. But if you post on social media about election fraud or you speak up in any way with your conservative values, they will cancel your account and they will delete you.
I wish we could delete Marjorie Greene. But no, that's not what that's not what we're doing. It's funny how they care so much about free speech that they also say, oh, by the way, you should, get rid of TikTok, social media, Instagram, ban it all. Now remember, Republicans, going back to Donald Trump, want to get rid of Section 230, which would crush free speech on these platforms. These companies would be held liable for the things that their users will post. Therefore, what do you think that's going to happen? It's going to chill speech. They obviously have no idea. Okay. No, maybe I'm wrong. They do know what they're doing. That's the outcome that they want because they don't believe in free speech. They don't believe in speech at all. Only for them. Now, again, I don't know the context of which they're referring to, but I'm going to guess it has something to do with transgender people. Again, she says, well, they're learning it from somewhere. Well, learning what? Well, I've talked to and watched enough right-wingers to kind of intuit the things that they're talking about, the talking points that they use. And so whenever you hear them say something like, oh, they're learning stuff from the internet, they're learning this from TikTok, it was never like this before. It wasn't like this a couple of years ago. Well, they're referring to the LGBTQIA plus community. Now, that community has always existed. But nowadays, thankfully, they've become more comfortable with coming out and being themselves and living their truth. Now, the religious far right, of course, well, they've created a moral panic. Oh my God, things are changing. And it's scary because now girls have blue hair and like other girls. But I don't know if she's a girl anymore. I just can't tell anymore. I just can't tell anymore. I don't understand the world. And I refuse to change. I refuse. That's what this is. They refuse to change. They refuse to learn. They refuse to accept knowledge and change their opinions based on new information. I guess that's what makes them conservative. They're conserving the past or past attitudes and refuse to evolve. That's why they don't believe in evolution. That said, there are people, plenty of people out there, normal people who don't understand transgender, don't understand certain LGBTQIA plus issues, pronouns, etc. And it's actually okay to not understand these things. And it's not a bad thing to ask. In fact, I think it's a good thing to ask. And I think it's also a good thing to, go to these communities and talk to people and try to understand things. And let me just also say that not every trans person is obligated to explain everything to you. I get it. But if you're curious and if you come in to these communities and you're open-minded and you listen and you try to, understand their perspective, then they're going to be very open and welcoming into explaining who they are and why they're not a danger to you. And by the way, there's also plenty of actual resources for you to look up. But I would be careful, again, because there's so much misinformation, disinformation, and just hateful rhetoric online when it comes to, referring to trans people. That said, in order to do that, you would have to be intellectually curious. You'd have to be open-minded. And you might actually have to be forced to learn something, which leaves out a lot of right-wingers. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Now, TikTok and social media, interestingly enough, has actually been an incredible tool for LGBTQI plus acceptance, showing people that are in that community that they're not alone and that trans people, they're normal people. They're trying to live their true, authentic lives as their authentic selves, and that they're not a danger to you. But at the same time, social media nowadays has become a double-edged sword. Yes, now you have this incredible openness and people are open to be themselves, but that since social media is public, well, that can attract some of the more hateful people who are not open-minded. Accounts like Libs of TikTok, for example, will take the videos, they'll attach comments and commentary to those videos, maybe even selectively edit them. That does so in a way to demonize these people, accuse them of pedophilia, accuse them of grooming children, etc. And so that is the danger. Nonetheless, I do think that social media has overall been a good thing when it comes to acceptance of, these communities. And that's why more people are identifying this way, because they see something that they feel on the inside. And they feel more comfortable saying, that is my truth. I've always been this way, but now I have the courage to come out. That said, getting back to, let's ban social media. Well, I thought the right wing wanted free speech. That's what you always tell us. Free speech, right? Yeah, free speech, free speech. We believe it's free speech. Well, she explains it, though. In that video, she thinks that free speech is being able to post lies about the election. The type of lies that led to violence on January 6th from Trump supporters against the government. Now, look, free speech does not involve inciting a riot. That is a literal crime. And so free speech also, by the way, is not saying what you want on a private platform. That's not protected speech. Protected against the government, sure. The government can come after you for making a comment, about somebody that is less than nice on a social media platform. That doesn't mean that same social media platform can't ban your ass for it. They reserve the right, thanks to the fact that you signed a terms of service agreement before you even signed up for these websites, to, give them the power to delete your account at any point in time. They're allowed. Finally, the last thing here is the fact that she doesn't mention right-wing websites like True Social. True Social actually ends up doing a lot of deleting of accounts, lots of silencing and censoring, non-conservative opinions. Oh no, no way, really? True Social, though, I thought that they were for free speech. I thought they cared about free speech.
Truth essential.
No, they don't. They delete people and accounts that are critical of Trump, that posted things about the January 6th hearings. You also have Parler that bans leftist accounts. You have Gab that's just basically 90% neo-Nazis. And all the other conservative alt Twitters that don't adhere to their own claims of being in favor of free speech. And you know why? No company is ever going to be able to actually do that. Because if people are allowed to openly post anything on those platforms, you're going to get the worst kind of content. I'm not kidding. They will post not only the most extremely vile, racist, and anti-Semitic things, but they'll also post things like child porn, which we're all against, or at least I hope we're all against it. Threats of rape and violence. People have posted pictures of their own excrement. Not kidding. This happened on Parler. Back in July of 2020, Parler's former CEO, John Motze, had told CNBC, quote, if you can say it on the street of New York, you can say it on Parler. Which is funny because Parler starts banning stuff that people say in the street of New York all the time, which is, and he admitted this later, saying that you can't repeatedly say F you to people or threaten to kill them. Again, you hear that on the streets of New York all the time. So I hear. A few days later, he declared that you can't, other stuff that can get you banned, porn. Well, that makes sense, right? Sure. obscene usernames, and pictures of your poop. But now that maybe Kanye, who bought Parler, will let people to go back to, posting pictures of their poop. But that's maybe after he gets done posting stuff about the Jews. Look, the whole idea of the right wing being pro-freedom of speech, it's a joke. It's an actual joke. The only freedom that they actually really care about is to be the worst people online imaginable that they can be.